So we're officially live now.
Hey
And
y'all.
it's it's so crazy because I feel like I'll be wanting a intro or something to get the people ready for us to be here. Like, because with my pre-recorded videos, it's a little intro and everything, but when I come on here, I just be like, damn it, we here. You know? So, hey everyone who showed up thus far. Hey, buying the girl. You like my little intro? Let me wait. Okay, I'm about to make up an intro right now.
This will be a first, right? I've been the first for so many things.
So
So why
many
not,
things.
right?
So here go my intro off the dome. Welcome to Town Telling Tales Live. I wrote that all on my own, off the dome. I got skills. We gonna wait for some folks to get in here, and while we do that, I'm gonna try to share this on my page. And for anybody else that is chiming in, if y'all want to go ahead and share this, you can. I always forget to do this. I was just telling Octavia that I wish I had like somebody that be here to help me remember stuff or to even do this, because I always forget to share my stuff on my page and everything. So we gonna wait for some folks to get in here, and while I'm about to share this because I always forget. Hold on, I got feedback.
I
Did I hear
heard
that?
that.
You heard it? Okay.
I did.
Child, I don't even think I know how to post it. I don't even think I know how to. Okay, we'll figure that out later. Well, we have us some guests here, and so without further ado, I guess we can formally speak to the people, tell them why we're here on this evening. Welcome everyone to Tim Telling Tales. On tonight, we will be interviewing the wonderful Octavia Grant, author of If You Ever Did Me Wrong, Don't Trust Me. This is my applause.
And I can't even snap, so
Oh, I'm doing real good because typically I have my nails and then you can hear it real good, but with these stubs, child, it's just it feels so different. It feels so different. But anywho, let's say hello to everybody that's out there. Hey, Angela, mwah, mwah, mwah. That's my boo. Hey, Ebony, we got Arthur Ebony, and then we have book club president Ebony. Hey, y'all. Okay, so I'm getting instructions on how to do it, but it tried to make me only post it, I think, to a group. It wasn't letting me post it like to my actual page. Let me see. Watch now. I'm gonna type that and see where it go.
normally I share it at the end of it because I just cannot figure out how to do these things.
I think I
So
figured it out. So if somebody go over to my personal page, see if it's there. If it's not, then I'm not. Child, I ain't even gonna worry about it. It is what it is. They can catch us on the playback. So this is not your first time here with me with EyeCU Reading and Social Network. And so I recognize that while we are not new to you, there may be some people out there watching who are. So if you want to just give us a little blurb about yourself and tell us about your author life.
I am prepared for this, honey. So, because we get new readers every day and understand that being in this group, everybody's so active. So you may not have heard of me. If you have not, I am Octavia Grant. I am an independent author. I am definitely not new to this group. So 2 years ago, I was the featured author for this book, right? This is I'll Never Let You Go. So we talked about him 2 years ago. That was Damien, right? And then a year after that, I was in
Mm-hmm.
Reader's Court for this book.
Mm-hmm.
which
Yep.
people still inbox me about doing a part two. I personally don't see that in the future because it was just so draining. It was too draining. So
It should have been.
I don't think we're gonna do a part two, though they may make an occurrence in something in the future. There will probably not be a part two to Unhealthy Love. That ended me in, like I said, reader's court. And now we are here to talk about this book, right? And this one had a
Mm.
lot of personal instances in there. It was draining to write, but it was fun. So I am an open book, guys. I've been writing professionally since 2016. I have about 30 books under my belt, um, and more to come. So let's get into it.
Child, listen. One thing that you gonna always do is give us the juice, honey. It's gonna always be juicy. Okay, and this one was juicy. Now it wasn't as
Correct.
deranged as some of the others, and that's saying a lot because they still crazy in this book. It's just that it'd be a whole nother level with some of the other ones, but this one right here, you low key could kind of understand what
Mm-hmm.
pushed her to this place. So I guess that kind of gave it a sense of it was slightly conservative for you.
For me, yes.
For you, it was probably conservative. So, but it was interesting that you just said that this one has some personal stuff in it. And that's funny because when we were meeting last night for book club, somebody was like, "Can you ask her if any of this was based on a true story or real
Yes.
people?" And I was like, "Uh-huh, I sure will ask that question." And so I'm gonna let you answer that, but before we do that, I'm thinking we should just kind of give a synopsis about the book. Would you like to do that, ma'am?
Sure. So without reading the actual synopsis, this book, if you ever did me wrong, don't trust me, is basically about relationships, right? We love men, but God help them, they can be just stupid, right?
As
And
hell.
so you be in a relationship, whether short term or long term, and they'll do something that's asinine or just plain stupid. And then they think, okay, well, this is my woman. This is who I love. This is my person. So she's going to forgive me, or she should forgive me. And normally that's not I don't think what men realize is how much women hold on to and for how long a woman can hold on to it. And I have a son now, and I know that when he's older, I'm going to have to explain to him that it's not these side chicks and it's not these home records per se that you have to worry about. What you have to worry about is a woman, with a good woman, right?
Period.
Because you never know what's on a woman's mind. So this book touches on how a person that was in a relationship with someone else who he admitted was a good woman, who he admitted had his back even when he couldn't take care of himself. She was everything that a man would want in a woman or would want for his son. And he messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now he thinks, okay, well, because so much time has gone past, we can get this thing back to where it should be. And she's receptive to it, not knowing that in the back of her mind there's nothing but hate there.
Mm-hmm.
And women can smile in your face, like put on the prettiest smile and cook you the nicest meal and come around just smelling like roses, and literally have, nigga, I'm gonna kill you in the back
Right.
of their
Yes.
head, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they don't think that far ahead. And that's why we're here today to discuss, some of this is true events. A lot of women have gone through these things. A lot of women may not have gone through these things. Some women are forgiving, but most women that I personally know, he's going to get something in the end. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just what it is. And I don't think, even if you tell a man that, they won't believe it, because my person would never do that to me. My person would never hurt me, and your person will, especially if it's to, you know,
That
revenge is a dish
extent.
best served cold, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they never see it coming. It's always a surprise to them
Even
when
though they
something
bring it on
happens.
themselves. Like,
You
you
can't
caused
tell
this
them
too.
that.
Like, I ain't out here just cutting the food for no reason. I was being nice and sweet and cooking you short ribs and everything
Right?
else. And then you just had
Working
to
out,
clown.
smelling good, cooking, taking care of home, and you embarrass me. And
Out
a
here
lot of
embarrassing me.
people don't handle embarrassment well. They don't, especially repetitive
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment. So that sparked this book.
Well, we're gonna make sure that people know we are going to be spoiling during this live session. So
Yes,
if you have not read the book, why?
right? Because
Um,
I made it free for a week,
okay,
right?
so if you haven't read the book, you can still get the book.
Mhm.
You can still stay here and listen to us kiki about the book. Because you'll probably end up wanting to read it even more after you listen to us talking about it. But if you
Mhm.
are somebody who's like, no, I don't want to listen, oh my God, until I actually read the book, okay, you probably gonna have to tap out at some point because child, I can't. We got to delve deep into this bad boy. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, there was a part where I had to highlight in this book, right? And it was the Bible verse. That baby said, bad company corrupts good character. And
And
that
it
right
does.
there is a word, honey. Literally, it's a word. But that was this book all day long. Like, dudes better quit being out here playing with people's hearts and
Mhm.
thinking that, we're the ones that's required to, constantly and consistently forgive and everything is just gonna be a-okay because now you've decided that you want to act like you got some sense. Yeah, nah, it don't really even be going like that, pimp. And Reese was out here teaching life lessons, baby. Do you understand what I'm saying? Life lessons.
Yes.
So which one of these lessons hit close to home for you? Because you said it's based on true events. So what part?
So, in any book that I write, I put a little personal effects in it because I feel like you can't tell a good story if you've never been in this person's shoes. That's just life, right? Even if you go to therapy, you can't deal with someone that's never had any life experience. You won't relate to me, you can't help me. So, in this particular book, I wrote about infertility, right? Because I've never been shy about it. I've been open with it because I feel like a lot of women feel like it's something to be ashamed about. And it's not. Like, you can't help how your body reacts to things, or your
Mm-hmm.
body, looking at your child as a foreign object and literally aborting it, right? So in this particular book, the basis of their initial problem was the fact that she could not carry children. And that hit home to me because for 8 years I dealt with infertility, right? So it was easier to write about dealing with PCOS and women with endometriosis, or tip cervix, or anything that impacts a woman's um reason to reproduce. So it was easier to write about that because I personally lived through that, and I know a lot of women can relate to it. So once they read it, they could understand why she went off the deep end the way that she
Mm-hmm.
did. There is nothing like a woman feeling like, I can't, I'm not a woman. Like, we're put here to, create life. And because I can't, I don't feel as if I'm good enough. And then you throw that back in my face and think that, okay, whether it hurts you or not, I would rather just get it over with. And then for you to realize in the end, you were a part of her issue to not reproduce because of all of the stress. And, I feel like a lot of people, they don't realize that a woman's environment, in addition to her body, can hinder the way that she carries a child.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he saw her, he's like, well, how when did this happen? How did this happen? The time that she wasn't with you, she was able to do everything that she couldn't do with you, right? So I felt like, using that experience, the infertility experience, it was hard to write about because even now I still struggle with it, even though I have a child, and even though I'm carrying another child, it's still easy to write about because I understand.
Hold on. Run that back. You said you're doing what
Yes.
now?
I'm not, I'm not this big. I'm huge, right? Or at the moment, I'm huge. It is because I
Because
am 5 months pregnant with a little
ah,
girl. So, so I don't have those infertility issues anymore. But
congratulations.
thank you. I don't have those issues anymore at the moment. But I still understand, like, that will always be an insecurity that I will always have, even when I'm a grandmother, because I dealt with it for so long. So, and I try to put things in books that women can talk about and, realize that you don't have to be ashamed about this. Like, this is just what you're going through at the moment. But it's okay, right? As long as you keep the faith and believe that you can eventually do what you want your body to do, it'll do
Mm-hmm.
it, right? So he just couldn't understand that, which is why he ended up where he was.
Dead for the people. He
Oh
dead,
my goodness.
dead, like disgustingly dead, honey.
Hmm.
Disgustingly dead. We
The
have some
most embarrassing
congratulations on
way.
here for you.
Thank y'all.
Aww. Okay, so who all knew this? Okay, like, is this an exclusive to Tam Telling Tales and
Well,
EyeCU?
actually, I had already, told the group through one of our comments or something I was interacting with, and I said, as a full-time mom, as a full-time corporate employee, a full-time author, and an expectant mother, and they just hopped on it. Like, you weren't
Ugh.
supposed to slip that in there. Like, we saw that, and so.
You just dropped that in on them. Okay, I thought I had made an exclusive. That's fine though, honey. I'm just glad that you said something. Oh,
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, so let me just let me just talk about a part that just like was giving me just like cringe, right? I just gotta say this. I do. Um, I towards the end when we got dead bodies all on the floor, we in the little sleazy motel. You done threw Reese done threw this old nasty water all over people. She hitting folks. They laid out on the hepatitis B floors and everything, honey. And somehow everybody wants to all of a sudden have sex. Listen, that was nasty.
Of course.
Oh,
But
it was
a lot of
nasty. I said,
men.
how? How? Just girl, how? This nasty. And then all I could think about was like his face all up in her and everything. I was like, oh, she gonna have bacterial vaginosis for sure. Oh, that baby gonna need some pills.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she gonna need a 7-day supply. Oh, oh, it's gonna get ugly for sis. It's gonna get ugly for her. Now, what would have been really good was if she had ended up pregnant after that too. Because in my head, I
Hmm.
was thinking that might have ended up happening, but we cut that off, and I was like, you know what? It's cool. We don't need another baby in all of this chaos. Not another one. We already had Paul MJ with his brown teeth. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? we didn't need that no more. And I love the twins' names. It was what Legacy
And
and
Kingston.
Kingston. Oh, them was cute. I like that. I did. Okay, we got some questions. Let me see. Oh, okay. Who was your favorite and least favorite characters in the book?
My favorite, of course, was Reese, simply because she did things a lot of women wish they could do. Once you're angry, and I would never do it, right? Because I don't want to go to jail, and I'm not going to be in the police station lying to the police like I'm an actress.
Right.
So that was my favorite. Valentina, her sister, was my least favorite because she went out of her way to make her life uncomfortable. And she made her life uncomfortable because of something that Reese didn't even do or didn't know anything about. Like, you can't be mad at me for how someone else makes you feel and not let me know that you have why you have this beef with me. Like, we're family, right? And I understand family doesn't always get along, but you can't hold me accountable for something that I didn't do. Like, I treated you like my sibling, yet you treated me like an enemy because you're mad at our father. Like, that's just insanity. You went out of your way to have MJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went out of your way to do that. And I don't like people like that because people like that do exist in families,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say,
So,
like, these is real people out here that act just like that. We are
like,
so terrible with, channeling our issues, our problems and things that are
mhm.
affecting us. We just find the most unhealthy ways to deal with them, and unhealthy ways to cope. And child, Valentina for sure needed some help. However, Reese was actually my least favorite.
Really?
She was, and I'm gonna tell you why. Um, Now clearly we started off with her being the good girl. This
Mhm.
man then trashed her, and he did all kind of just ruthless stuff to her and her sister too. But I just feel like revenge don't do nothing in this case but turn you into a horrible, terrible piece of person.
It really did.
Because revenge for me, a good revenge is moving on with your life, being happy without said person in it. Because just like when she was without him, she could have them babies. Anytime you recognize that once you ain't got a man in your life and you doing better without him, that means he
Mhm.
was never supposed to be there that long in the first place, right?
Right.
And then here you come, letting him back in, and now you got so caught up on being revengeful and scornful and filled with all this fury and this hate. You can't move on from it. You out here a whole killer. You out here getting banged in a hospital room with a half dead body sitting next to you. You out here actually having sex next to a dead body, blood everywhere. Like you have become so nasty now. And you
Mhm.
started off so good. And so for that reason, like she wasn't my favorite. And you did it with the intent of hurting somebody.
That's
Whereas
right.
when it came to Valentina, she was a hurt person hurting people. When it came to
Mhm.
Mario was a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, ugh, it's sad, but a lot of them just can't help themselves. You know what I'm saying?
But you can help
And he never
yourself
intended,
without my sister,
but
though.
he never intended for her to really find out. He didn't really want her to know. But Reese was like, "Oh baby, I'm coming for you." And when you find out what I did, oh, I'm about to rock your whole world, pimp. So everything about what she did was intentionally to hurt somebody. And I can't really even rock with that. I just feel like Reese says you let this man bring you even further down into the gutter. You didn't decide that you wanted to
She
screw his
did.
best friend too. Like, you don't keep trash now, says I don't like you.
But as you said, hurt people, right? She took it to the extreme. She did not, she could have, she moved on when he said, I am actually married to your sister, right? She moved on and she had her baby or was carrying her babies. He popped up and her intent was, I've been holding on to this animosity for so long, I have to release it. And it turned her into the villain,
Yep.
right? And I feel like a lot of women don't realize that moving on is sometimes for the best, like for the better of you and for your mental health, for your
Mm-hmm.
emotional healing. And they get so hell bent on getting this person back that they lose themselves in that catastrophe. So now you're just as bad as that other person.
Yep.
And she's still my favorite, but women do it. Women do it all the time. And I feel like, you don't always have to get somebody back, right? You can just
Mhm.
move on and let them deal with those ramifications in the future, or they may not even get karma. But it's not my business to even care if you get it or not. My
Yep.
business is to move on and be a happier me. But a lot of
Mhm.
people have not reached that level of maturity yet. I personally will focus on Octavia, and anybody else is just not my concern. So she let it get the best of her. She was simmering on that thing for too
Whew.
long.
Child, too doggone long. And I'm saying, see, that's why you lost that baby too. You
Yeah.
out here trying to be all revengeful and everything. And now look what
Hmm.
didn't happen. So yeah, Reese wasn't one of my favorites. So we got some more questions. So Bayina asked, was any other characters based on true events?
The characters, no, they're just a figment of my crazy mind. The only part of it that was true or that had
Girl,
some resemblance of truth. Please excuse my son running around in the background. He thinks he can get on screen.
no
the,
worries.
the only thing that
He our
was
baby too
true.
though a little bit. So if he want to get on screen, he can say hi to the people. He ICU baby.
He is an ICU baby,
He
isn't
is.
he? He
Mhm.
is. So if he comes back around here again, I'll pick him up and then send him back on. But the only part that I use actual events for was to write about the infertility. That was based on the chaos that goes on in my mind, from dealing with that issue with PCOS for so long. The people aren't, but that particular section really is an actual event, and that's me. So there you go.
Mm, let me see. Oh yes, okay. Because I did mention that. Say, everybody said, speaking of the hospital bed scene, I wanted Mario to wake up and catch them hunching so bad. Like in my Diesel every like in my head, I felt like even if he didn't wake up, like he was gonna be able to like hear it, and like he was gonna end up remembering it at some point in time and realize like, hey, my wife might be a hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that was gonna happen. It didn't. So
But he
that's
was a
fine.
medically induced coma, so he could not just pop up. But when he did find out at the end that she was, dealing with his best friend, he was like, we can act like this didn't happen. Because he knew that he is the cause of her going batshit crazy. That's his fault. Now, a best friend is just nasty.
Yeah.
Relatives are just disgusting. There are so many other men in the world. Like, you don't have to go after my right hand man just because you and your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But some
See?
women do. I think it's gross, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of blaming the music too. We got songs out here that's kind of glorifying that and everything. I wish
That's
you
true.
was your best friend, although it is catchy, but still, like when you listen to the words, it's like, girl, no, you can't do this. It's
No,
not
you
okay.
cannot.
But
You are still a woman, honey.
it's
Let's
everywhere.
conduct ourselves like women.
It's everywhere. Now, I also noticed. Okay, so in the other books that I've read by you, there's usually a news reporter
Hmm.
that is there. What was my news reporter lady?
Ivory was not in this book because who's going to
Dang.
actually tell on themselves, right? Ivory is actually, so when I was in high school, and even to this day, I'll be 37 in July. I have this best friend named D, and me and her just got into some trouble as kids, and I was wearing an Ivory shirt that my mother would have probably killed me for, right? And then her last name is Addison, so that's where Ivory Addison came from.
That was
So
it. I'm like,
she was
where
not in
the news?
that.
Where our anchor lady? Where she
But
go?
she is in an upcoming book. So
Okay.
she's just not in this one.
Okay. Because I said, wait a minute. Somebody's supposed to be here. It was her. We was we was trying to give you a nickname last night too. We couldn't think of one. So has anybody else given you some crazy author nickname that you
No,
know? We're gonna have to
I
figure
have
one out.
not. I
We
have
gon-
not. But I will say this. So I've been in this group for a very long time, and I am very close with a lot of the readers here, especially the core members. And Monique, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. She said, this was not my favorite book, and I respect that. But what kind of made me mad, not at her, but at my peers, meaning our authors, we get these authors that think that their avid readers or their dedicated readers are supposed to like everything that they put out. And us as authors, as readers, as consumers, we don't like everything that, our peers, releases. So I feel like, for her to feel like she had to apologize for that, I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, you have the right to like what you don't like, and you have the right to like what you do like. This was not my craziest book. I am aware of that, right? And she said, maybe your writing has me warped. And it could be because from the beginning, I've always done things to the extreme. And I'm realizing that you guys like that. So I'm going to try to kick that back up a notch. But I'm like, and I'm like, I have to apologize to her because I never want anybody to feel like, okay, well, because I'm so active in this group, you have to like everything I put out. You have to go along with everything I say. No, you definitely don't. Because I have authors that I follow religiously, and I'm like, you still telling the storyline? Like, get over it, right? But you have the right to feel how you feel. So I'm going to apologize on behalf of my peers. Like, if anybody's ever made you feel like you have to apologize for a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star rating, you don't, because you have the right to like what you like or not like, and you don't have to apologize for that. We don't like everything,
Mhm.
right? So any of you guys, if you ever feel like, okay, well, I don't want to tell her the truth because I don't want to hurt her feelings, no, you have the right to say what it is that's on your mind, just as well as we have the right. That's why we leave reviews, right? It helps the author know what our readers want to see. It helps us write better storylines, more realistic storylines, without, like just blaming people like, oh, well, she could have said that she didn't like this, or she could have just acted like to appease me. No, don't ever
Mhm.
do that, and don't ever apologize for that. Because when we go to Walmart, if a shirt we don't like it, or if the meat is too expensive, we leave it there, right?
Mhm.
So please, guys, you guys have known me long enough to know that you can always be honest with me. And I love it because that lets me know that you appreciate me enough, or that I'm open enough for you to feel like you can be yourself with me. And that's how I'm always going to present myself like that to you all. So, Monique, I wasn't trying to put you on the hot seat, but I felt like I needed to apologize for you feeling like you had to, because you don't. Okay?
You know what? Thank you so much for addressing that, because I feel like that is probably something that comes up not just with maybe EyeCU reading, but readers in general. We
Right.
develop these relationships with the authors via social media and everything. And when it comes to reading their work, you didn't gave 5 stars here, 5 stars there, and then
Mm-hmm.
you stumble upon a piece and you're like, this is not my favorite. And then you're conflicted on whether or not
Right.
you should like really be honest about how you felt, or if you should sugarcoat it, because
Please don't sugarcoat with
well,
me.
I'm friendly with them, and so I don't want them to be
Mm-mm.
mad at me. And that really is like an internal struggle that I'm not going to say everybody has. I'll just speak personally for myself that I have sometimes. And so the way that I've coped with that in the past has been that if I say something about the book, I'm going to say the things that I did like.
Right.
And those things that I didn't like, I maybe don't say at all. So hearing that, I think that would make people like myself and other readers more comfortable with doing exactly what it is that you said. Be honest. Because quite
Right.
frankly, I want to be able to say those things, because typically it's coming from a place of, I know that you can do better. I want you to do
Mm-hmm.
better. I support you. You know what I mean? And so See,
And
that's
I
why we love
personally
you,
feel
girl.
like I personally feel like, a lot of you guys know that before I became independent, I worked with a publisher. It wasn't the best experience, but I did gain a lot of knowledge from him. And when I first met with him, he said, in order to be an author, you have to have thick skin because not everyone is going to like what you put out. And I feel like that it didn't need to be explained because if you're putting something out for the public, you don't like everything that's public, right? So
Right.
another person may not like what you put out, and that's respectable. But don't ever feel like, okay, I can't leave a review because I don't want to hurt her feelings. That helps the author become a better author, right? I'm letting you know that I am an avid reader. I respect your work, but this you could have done better. And if a person can't respect that, then putting work out for the public just may not be for them, right? Because no one, 100% of the people are never going to like everything that you do. There are times that I reread my books as a reader, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. Nobody told me about this because they may not have wanted to offend me, but it's not offensive when you're giving me the truth. What's offensive is you allowing me to continue to make the same mistake. And I can only respect you guys because you guys really push us to be amazing writers. But I don't ever want you to feel like because I'm so open with you all that you have to kiss ass, right? Don't, because that doesn't help anybody. Nobody likes a yes man. Nobody likes that, and it's not beneficial to growth, right? You have to be honest, and you have to be susceptible, or I have to be susceptible to that because I'm not going to stop writing, right? So I need to know what you like or what you don't like so I'll know not to make that same mistake. And I feel like I've grown a lot in this group because people have been honest with me. Don't ever apologize for that. Like, don't, because it's not, if a person can't accept that you're telling them the truth, this position just may not be for them.
Mm.
And that's just what it is. Like you can't put work out and expect that your critics are always going to be 100% on your side. It just doesn't work that way. It's
Yeah.
unrealistic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's yeah, you hit the nail on the head. If nobody is ever telling you the truth, you're not gonna put yourself in a position to
Mm-mm.
grow and to
You're
do
not.
and be better. And shoot, I'm speaking personally. I done had some as a matter of fact, on my videos, I got the message like, are we gonna use some different pictures for these nails? Because them was pandemic nails. And sis, you didn't come a long way since them pandemic nails. You know what I'm saying? Because I started my channel, pandemic, couldn't go to the nail salon. I need to fill in, and I had them stained nails for 2 months. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm still gonna take these pictures. And I just been using them for at least almost 2 years now. And they like, hey, hey girl, hey, you wanna do something about them nails?
Oh my God.
So
You have to respect
listen,
it.
folks be wanting you to do and be better. And you got to appreciate it. You gotta
Right.
love
You
it.
have to.
Okay, let me see. Let me get through my comments here. Um, yes, we're all just really glad to um that you shared that with us. I like that too for. Oh, okay. So they figuring and working some stuff out on the back end. So child, so we good to go. Okay, so let me see what else I wanted to talk about with you. Another scene from the book. Oh wait, I think I saw somebody talk about it. These mamas, these sister mamas, the generational curse of these men screwing these sisters. I just
Hmm.
woo child. I can say this. I wanted more on that. Like I was like, they sisters. But mamas and sisters. So that's grandmama and auntie. I just
Oh my God.
that was child, that was a lot. That was a lot. Um, Wait a minute. Let me go back because I feel like somebody said something about it, and I got the run in my mouth, and child, I missed it. Oh, there we go. That's what it was. Let's talk about these sisters. talk about the sister mamas and repeating the cycle. Did you start the book with that plot twist in mind?
No. I was trying to figure out how to. A lot of times, what people don't realize is a lot of times you write books as you go. So, as you all know, I'm a handwriter. So, I may write something, and then when I go to type it, it doesn't sit right with me. So, I change it around. I'm trying to figure out how do I get the dad and this whole cycle of nonsense to be connected, right? And literally, the only thing I could think of is Reese's mom and Valentina's mom are either half sisters, whole sisters, I can't even remember. But I'm like, this is the only way that I can connect these women of their history, right? Because
they full-blooded in my head.
They probably are. I don't know. I didn't write that.
They got the same mama and daddy.
But it's like, okay, so you were so jealous of me because I had a so-called good man that you wanted this man for yourself, only for him to treat you like trash. And now your daughter, who is my daughter's sister, what, and first cousin, right?
The confusion of it all, child. Something like
now
that.
Now they're like, okay.
Sibling, cousin.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I did not plan that when I was going through my editing to figure out how I can make things make sense. That's the only thing I could come up with. Now, in the beginning, yes, Valentina and Reese, I knew were going to be sisters, but their mothers being sisters, that came to me when the book was already finished, because I did not write that piece when I was handwriting the book. It just came out of nowhere, and it just worked.
Yeah, I wanted to punch Valentina and Reese daddy in the face. I just want to punch him in the face, like, and it all resorts back to these old knucklehead ass ninjas, boy. I swear to God, they just be wreaking havoc from generation to generation. You had old Papa Daddy out here rolling stoning with these sisters, and then you fast forward 20 years later, and now you got Mario raggedy ass out here doing the same thing. It's just like the game don't change, just the players.
Just the players. And I'm like, you know what? What would make a person want their significant other's family member, friend, neighbor? It's just weird. Like, it seems like some people should be
you heard
right? Some people should just be off limits. Like, there has never been one of my old man's friends that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get with him because he acting stupid. That's just disgusting. Like, I don't even want them around me because those are his friends. They don't need to be around me. I'm one of those women, and maybe it's because I was born in the South and I look at things, differently. If your man has friends over, you go in another part of the house. Like, you don't need to be in these men's company. So for you to go to the extreme, like Reese went to the fire station to have sex with her ex's friend. Like, who does that? Like, you went out of your way to get to this man.
A scorned woman, hot with a little hot pocket. Ooh, Reese just became diabolical. She
really did.
She was shitty. She
really did. I feel like if she just left the situation alone and, dealt with her babies, she would have been okay. But she let it consume her, and she became just like them. And it happens too often. It happens way too often.
all the dudes in this book, like none of them had like a lick of grace I was willing to give. Not that daddy saying all of that terrible stuff to Valentina when she was a child. Like,
as a father, how are you mad at the child for where you put your penis, right? Like, know, if I have unprotected sex with a woman, a child may form, So how are you mad at her and blaming her for your sins? Like, she's a kid. She didn't ask to be here. And instead of you acknowledge her as your child, you acknowledge her as a problem. So she began to be a problem because that's all she knew, right? So maybe I shouldn't be mad at Valentina because her parents did mess her up, but I just can't. Like she's done too much. She went out of her way to find Reese's first husband, right? You went
I
out
mean,
of your
she
way to
was
find this man.
sleeping with all her men,
Like she
all
was
of them.
obsessed. She was
And it wasn't
obsessed.
like she wasn't giving up the amp to like half the rest of the city.
Everybody.
Like, girl, you couldn't just leave these two out. But she
Mm-mm.
couldn't because again, she was hurt. She was definitely doing that out of hurt.
Right.
But
But
child,
is that an excuse? Like she had already.
no.
Mario said, "I don't want you. You can't give me a family." She said, "Okay," and she went to wherever she went, met a man, got married, and Valentina, excuse me, came to wherever she was to disrupt her marriage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why are you chasing me to make my life difficult?
You see what
Right?
I'm
Just
saying?
leave me alone. Like I've already moved on, and for you to say my baby daddy is your husband, why would you even do that, right? And it's just a lot of craziness. Even though it's crazy, like I said, it's still not my craziest work, but it's more believable
Mm.
um, than some of the things that I've written before.
And let me also say this okay. So this book just reminded me that when you are beefing with somebody as an adult, you beefing with another adult, I'm gonna need for you to keep that beef between the adults. I need y'all to be
Correct.
18 and over handling y'all business because once you start rolling in with these babies and everything, it's not a good look. It is affecting
Mm-hmm.
them in so many ways. It's not helping nobody. Like, sis,
Mm-hmm.
you got a little piece of money off of this man for a few years, but hell, by the time he left you, you were still living in a sleazy motel and your son had brown teeth and you couldn't feed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so your end game didn't even end out with you winning. Okay.
But I
But
personally
and then
think
this
she
was
could have afforded to take care of this little boy, but she knew how much Mario loved him. So her goal was to
sad.
hurt Mario still, even though they weren't together
And
anymore.
hurt
Her goal
everybody
was
else
to hurt
around
him.
her.
Right. Because
This
MJ
innocent
didn't
baby.
deserve that. This
He didn't
innocent
deserve it.
child has to pay for your father not wanting me. Your innocent child has
Mm-hmm.
to pay for, you know, me being a terrible person, a terrible mother. Because if I am hurt, then you have to be hurt and your offspring has to be hurt. Their entire lineage has to
Mm-hmm.
feel this wrath. And that is something a lot of women do. Like,
Yep.
personally, the whole child support thing, if you can't be with me, then you going on child support. You can't see these kids. Why? Because I don't
Why?
want your craziness in my life. I deserve to not be in my child's life. A lot of women don't want to admit that they're toxic. And a lot of women don't want to admit that there's a problem. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they are. And it's because of their craziness from them not healing. So,
Yep.
I have become so vocal about people just, trying to find therapy to deal with their problems. But a lot of people still in Black communities feel like I don't want to do my business. But it helps, right? Because all of these people do not deserve to be hurt. These children did not
Absolutely
deserve to
not.
be in your business because you're mad at your sister and the man that was with her initially, right? You don't get to treat this child this way, but a lot of women do. Like
Yep.
I am a firm believer that there are more deadbeat mothers than there are fathers because I feel like even like a man is labeled a deadbeat because of what the woman says. And a lot of times that's just not the case. Sometimes these women are just upset that this man no longer wants them. And now everybody's going to know that you're a deadbeat. I'm going to mistreat your child and blame it on you. And they get a bad rap for it.
Child.
But
Child.
like, let's just be honest. Um, a lot of women bring their children into their adult problems because they need someone on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, but it happens. And I personally don't see it not happening in the near future because everybody always wants to be right. And it's just sad.
Girl. I'm just like, I'm reminded that when you out here making these babies, not out of love, like they gonna
Mm-hmm.
grow up and realize it and know it and become these type of
Of people.
adults.
Right.
And we don't really be talking enough about the fact that just because you made a baby don't mean that you love it.
That is correct. That is correct.
You know what I mean? Like that don't
It's
mean
like
that,
in
that
some
there's this
cases,
bond, that this magical bond
motherhood
is
is
just
a
gonna
hustle.
happen. You know what I mean? Like it's not. You would love for that to be the reality in the case because that's the way
Mm-hmm.
that it should be. But oftentimes people are not relating the act of sex with procreation
Mm-hmm.
in life with someone that you love and respect as well. You just out here shooting up clubs and boom, now we got kids, and you like, I don't even really have that much of a bond with your mama. I barely know her last name, and so now I gotta bond with you. Like, I don't want to, and it should not be that way. I'm not saying that it should be that way, but I'm saying that it is. That's the reality for so
It
many people.
is.
That's why you have so many homes that are broken, folks who barely know they daddies and all that type of stuff. And then you got the mamas that's out here mad taking it out on their kids because they thought for whatever reason that this was what they needed to do to keep this man around. It's just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
the stupidity of it all. Mm,
Ignorance. Like,
mm.
what did you think could happen? Like, I don't even
And
know
at
what to
this point,
say.
it's a broken record because we've been watching it happen on television and reading it in books and
Mm-hmm.
seeing it in the news constantly. So we just keep on repeating the cycle, child. And it's just terrible. It's terrible.
Motherhood for some has become a hustle. It's simply, I'm gonna
Whew.
have this baby to keep this man. I'm gonna have this baby to trap this man. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have this baby to get money from this man. It's not about the child, right? It's about me getting what I want. And if I can't get what I want, then the child is really of no use to me. And that's just how some people think. And I'm like, maybe I waited so long to be a mom. Like, I would bend over and die for my child, right? But some people just don't care,
Mm-mm.
right? But it's been like
Mm-mm.
that before I even came into existence. So people are just going to do whatever I guess they feel worked for them. It's crazy. And it's crazy to repeat that cycle. But you can't tell some people that they're wrong. So
Mm.
it's just what it is for some, I guess.
Child. Well, Sam said Valentina deserved that ass whooping in that courtroom and did. And did. It was unfortunate that, a life had to be lost in the midst of
Hmm.
all of that. However, if anybody deserved to get tapped on, it was her in that moment. And it was just
It
interesting
was.
how you wanted to grovel at the end. Oh, my sister. Oh my God, let's rip this out. Oh, like, nah, sis, you wasn't thinking about none of that when you was sleeping with all my dudes. For real?
Exactly.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Okay, so let me see. You know how we get. We be kikiing and we getting down to the final minute. So let's see. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Some new releases that Synopsis
Yes,
is
I
putting out.
am working now. I just released Amani. That is also not a crazy book. It does have its crazy moments in there, but it's not insanity. Um, that was just released, and I'm still working on some short stories. I'm still working on more full novels to release. I'm a part of some amazing collaborations this year. So I cannot wait until all of this is out. I don't know if I can speak on it yet because I haven't seen them speaking on it, but just know that some great things are coming.
Okay, yay, yay, yay. And then let's see what else we have. Then lost count of how many freestyles and synopses that you have slayed. So, do you have any plans on any of these being books?
Yes, it's one of my short stories. I'm not going to say which one yet.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, I've already even had the cover made. I have already done my full dedication. It is going to be amazing. So what I was thinking, I remember you guys sent me your addresses for when I did the author of the month a couple of years ago. So I was just going to mail you guys the physical copy without telling you anything. You'll see when you get it in the mail, but it is a short story. Of course, it won't be anything longer than 60 pages, but it's going to be action packed and it is going to be crazy. So
Will it
I
be
am excited.
autographed?
Course.
Can I have your
You can have
autograph?
my John Hancock.
Okay. See, when I have like a paper or a hard copy, I be feeling like I want to open up my book and see a signature, honey. I mean, e-reads is cool and
Will
all, but it's
not.
just something about that Sharpie all on the first page of my book. I'm like, ooh, I feel so special. I feel so special. So I'm glad. I'll be highly anticipating that. I love anything that comes in my mail that ain't a bill, honey. Mm.
All right, let him tell you guys hi because he's just acting very,
Hey,
very. No,
you gonna
say
wave
hi,
today?
Skylar.
Hey, hey, Emma.
He
How
is nosy.
you nosy? See, you had to see what Mama was up to. Come back in the screen. Hey,
Oh, keep going.
look, now he ready to go. Now he
He
ready to
messing
go.
with lights and stuff.
Like that's our nephew. I see you, baby.
Oh my god, just messing with
Oh.
stuff.
Okay, well, let's see. Let me check and see if we got any more questions. I don't think so. You know, I'll be having to scroll up and tell somebody get that child support though, boo. Okay, we didn't talk enough about the depths of the broken homes, but at the end of the day, get that child support, get them papers. I hear you, Tina.
Goodness.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do. Your circumstance is your circumstance. Let's see. Hey, Lisa, thanks for coming through and checking on us. She's so sweet. She ain't read the book yet, so she said she got to read the book. Yes, child.
You can read this book in either paperback, it's on audio, iTunes, if you have an iPhone, and it's also, and of course, ebook. So you have
Wait,
3 formats.
it's an audio book?
Yes,
I
it's
didn't
on
know you did
Audible.
audio books, girl.
It's on Audible and it's on iTunes. Yes.
Listen now. Well, everybody is not, avid book listeners. It's a lot of folks out here that are. And I did not know that
Mm-hmm.
that you did audible books. Okay, so who's your narrator?
So the narrator, her name is C. Scott. She's narrated all of my books so far. Well, the ones that I have on audio. She's a great narrator. She does great voiceovers. She's great. And
Okay.
she did narrate this book. So if you're like, so me, outside of writing, I do have a corporate job. I'm a money laundering investigator, right? So if when I'm at work, of course I can't sit down and read a book. So if it's on Audible or if it's on Hoopla or if it's on iTunes, I'll get it and listen to it while I'm working. I
Okay.
love audiobooks, right? I feel like audiobooks have helped me become an author because when I was listening to a book, there was information on how to submit your manuscript to a publisher. So
Okay,
I
cool.
have a great love for audiobooks. So if you're busy at home with the kids or you're working, it's a great way to still see what your author is talking about. So I try to get mainly my full books on audio, not so much short stories, though I do have one or two on there. But yes, you can get that. Audible or iTunes, whichever one you
Awesome.
want.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
that is good to know. And we have come to the conclusion of our live interview with author Octavia Grant. Thank you so much for being with EyeCU Reading and Social Network and myself, Tam, telling tales on this evening. Everyone, if you haven't yet, read the book, and just in general, read a book.
Read a book, even if it's not mine. Expand your mind.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.